Metro Atlanta, Fathers Incorporated wants to know where my dad's at, because we got you covered. If you need assistance with visitation, child support, or you just want to be a part of a brotherhood to support you in becoming the best dad you can be, then visit fatherhoodisbrotherhood.com and join the Brotherhood today. No charge to join. Visit fatherhoodisbrotherhood.com or text Fatherhood is Brotherhood to 66866. Again, text Fatherhood is Brotherhood to 66866. And again, if you want more information, visit fatherhoodisbrotherhood.com or text Fatherhood is Brotherhood to 66866.
This is Kenny Braswell, CEO of Fathers Incorporated, and I am with my good friend, Cbabi Bayoc, and he is, I'm not even going to, I was reading his resume today, and I was like, man, this cat has done a lot. You've done some things that I didn't know you would do, but I was like, you know what, let me let him introduce himself to people. Give us a little bit of your background.
All right, so it's Cbabi Bayoc.
Bayoc.
Yeah, that's all right. People flip that C and O all the time. But yeah, no, he's been painting 26 years. Been a caricature artist, album cover artist. We met through the 365 Days of Dad series. Doing a lot of school murals now and murals for business. Yeah, and just keep on trying to just keep on elevating.
That 365-day project, that how did that change your life? First of all, talk a little bit about what it was and tell me a little bit about how it changed your perspective on your art and changed people's opinion on who you were as an artist.
Yeah, like 2012, decided to do a Facebook-based project. We eventually moved over to Instagram, but it was 365 Black fathers and their children in 1 year, so one painting a day. And it was originally had no idea what the theme would be. It was just to generate funds, just to get more attention to my art and whatever. But then my ex-wife suggested fatherhood be the theme, and so it came up with 365 Days of Dad, and wound up taking 787 days to finish. But it has had a huge impact on my career. I think doing the murals and everything I'm doing now, I think all of that is it's a byproduct of that project, because it made people look at my work differently. I think before, people liked my work for style, this, that, and the other, but that made me look like an artist of purpose, touching on something political or social. Mm-hmm. Definitely had a huge impact on my career. And now, next year would be the 10-year anniversary. So I don't know if I have a show ready by next year, but since the whole show was online, I've never really had an exhibit around it. Mm-hmm. Develop an exhibit worthy of traveling, through museums. So I want to do some really large scale dad pieces that I've had, floating around in my mind and my brain. So I want to do something really big around the theme of Black fatherhood.
Well, I want to be involved in that as much as we can support you in that in all areas. So that's aside. We got to come back to that. I'm definitely want to support you in that effort and help you move that in some really, really big ways. And so, but why is fatherhood? I mean, this whole conversation of fatherhood right now around particularly the imagery. And that's what stood out to me back then when you started that project, which was when you looked around the social media world and you looked around the traditional media world at images of Black fathers. We didn't see a lot of it. And so when I saw that particular campaign, it struck a chord in my heart. Like, wow, somebody finally gets it, and we get a chance to kind of see fathers be fathers, right? And particularly Black fathers. Why did fatherhood hit a chord with you?
I mean, I'm a dad of three. You know, I got a 20-year-old, an 18-year-old, and an almost 16-year-old. Two boys and a girl. I lost my dad to suicide when I was 12. And so, yeah, and I've been self-conscious just about my abilities as a dad. So, I mean, there's just a lot of layers to that. And again, like you're saying, just the imagery wasn't out there, and just thinking about how many kids don't have dads. And so I didn't really intend for it. You know, it didn't even cross my mind that it wouldn't just be Black fathers. Like, it just didn't cross my mind, you know, until some white families started asking me. And then other people were telling me, like, no, you need to make them all Black fathers. And so it just became a thing. And, you know, I'm glad I did what I did, because, yeah, so many of our youth needed to know that there are men who are there all the time, just doing regular stuff, man. Like, nothing deep.
Mm-hmm.
Just one day at a time. Like, it's a metaphor for just being, you know, for not just for the kids, but even for dads struggling, dads not having the connection with the kids. Like, it just one moment at a time. That's all it is. Just one moment at a time. And collectively they build a legacy, the trust, love, you know, the whole nine.
Mm-hmm. And then you have people out there like myself, do me. Like, yeah, I wanted to see, you know, myself and my son, you know, in one of those. What do you think struck in those individuals that literally wanted to take their own imagery and see it in your art?
Yeah, it was not supposed to be commission based. I mean, I didn't know what it was. I just said I'm going to do it, and I just jumped in. But yeah, it quickly became a commission based project, and people wanted to make sure that they were a part of it, that their family was a part of it. And so, yeah, people started buying dates and buying, you know, multiples. You know, they had one more child, or one sister in particular, you know, her husband had, you know, fell victim to suicide as well, and she had 4 boys, so she bought 4 paintings plus one to give away. So, I mean, it touched people, and I didn't expect it, man. Just didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what I was getting myself into, but it was like best decision I ever made in my life.
Wow. When you finish the 365, is there one or two of those paintings that stand out for you that were sentimental and really kind of stays in your heart even after all of the 365?
Yeah, I did one of my own 2 sons at their school, and even the last one, which just is my hand, like, presenting the baby, and with the logo in the background. That's probably one of my favorites. And then there was one, like, that one in particular wasn't a commission. It was just a letter, and a young lady wrote me telling me that her daughter had been rejected by, you know, her dad and her grandma, because she was a light-skinned child and her dad was dark-skinned, so that couldn't be her kid, even though they had paternity tests. And so that one's probably the deepest one, because I felt like I had to respond to that and create a piece based on that whole notion. There was a lot of heavy pieces in that project.
Mm-hmm. You know, and then that time and span, you particularly over the last, let's say, 12 months or so during this kind of COVID, and maybe even before the last 12 months, you've done a lot of stuff around social justice, right? A lot of stuff around, particularly Me Too. There's one that you've done that I've been meaning to call you forever for, because I want to put it up in my house. It was a little girl with a fist up like this, and it was kind of turned over a little bit. And every time I see that picture, it just reminds me of my daughters. What is it about this social justice time that we're in right now that's inspiring you to put together some of those images to represent particularly our young people, and more specifically girls?
Yeah, I definitely do a lot of girls, because I still think it's still just a rough environment for women and girls in general, and Black women and girls. Yeah, I had this series. I think that series started before I can't remember if it started before Mike Brown was killed or after, but yeah, I got a whole series of kids with their fist up that I've worked on that I still plan to do something big with that I just got to get my mental space and time around working on. But a lot of the stuff outside of that, like all the pieces in schools, again, that came to me. Like I didn't solicit, didn't start, but I mean, all the pieces in schools have been about around wanting all the children in schools to see themselves reflected in the art. So I've been doing these large scale murals in schools that always had a child of color, Black, Asian, or whatever, as the main character, and then from there filter out as much as I can. To have a little sprinkle here, a sprinkle there of folks from other ethnicities. Just so, yeah, I mean, because that's just the space we're in now. Like, folks are tired of having just lily white art in schools when there's more than that in the student body.
Mm-hmm.
That came to me, it just fell in my lap. Like, I didn't ask for it. It just, one person asked me to do a mural, and then it just snowballed. And
mm-hmm. Do you get any sleep? How many hours a day are you painting?
No, I am definitely getting better at getting sleep. So I usually go to bed, 10-ish, get up at 6. Yeah, just rough stuff happened in my life. So I ate a lot of Ben and Jerry's. So now I'm getting on my bike sometimes twice a day. Got to get this 30 pounds off.
Mm-hmm.
And especially since I'm doing a lot more murals and want to continue to do more, I just got to get physically better in shape. But no, I'm vegan now, consistently, and exercising. But I get 6 to 7 hours every night.
Mm-hmm. Talk to me a little bit about your artistic process. Like, do you just images come in your mind while you're out doing regular kind of things? Do you have a list of things that you want to paint? Like, what is your artistic process? Like, what inspires you to paint whatever the images are that are in your space?
Sometimes I see an image on Instagram or Pinterest that hits me, and I know I got to do something with it. Theme wise, yeah, the 365 series, I know I want to do that. So that's something I've been developing in sketches on my iPad. Sometimes it's just, man, I can see some marks on the wall in a public bathroom that just look like something. Because I paint both people and I got an abstract voice I'm trying to figure out and find my space in, but still have it reflect, the things I care about. But yeah, I get inspired by all kinds of things, man. Like I can literally sometimes just look down at the ground and something hits me, and I'm like, man, and then that'll start a design, which eventually might turn into some people or a person. But yeah, sometimes I can't turn it off. Sometimes I'm just always picking up something. Mm-hmm. I don't know what to do with it, so I'll take a picture, but then I'll pull that picture up on my iPad and I'll scribble around and see if it turns into something.
Mm-hmm.
But I use my iPad a lot.
I was going to say that, with technology now, I see a lot of artists. It's kind of really, I think it's really cool that people are able to kind of draw on iPads. I can't even sign my name on the iPad and make it look like my signature. So that's the art in and of itself, just writing and drawing on your iPad or on your computer. Is there a difference between doing that for you on an iPad or on a computer and actually touching the paint and touching the canvas?
I love the feel of paint. But some images for me aren't necessary to physically paint and have a canvas, because sometimes I'm thinking that there's some images that I want to do that I could just create and take them straight to print, just like movies go straight to Netflix. Like there's some stuff that I could create and just go straight to print. And because I did it, if somebody wanted a canvas or wanted an original painting based on that, then I could do that because that's where I'm proficient. But I'm definitely getting a lot better of doing things on my iPad. But they usually are, yeah, there's still nothing like actually having a brush in my hand and wiping my hand on my clothes. Like I still need to feel it.
Wow. When you, now that, summertime is coming around, do you get outside and do more murals? Are you doing more murals and things of that sort in communities?
I think if I have any outdoor ones coming up, But we have a flood wall here in St. Louis. I definitely plan to go down there more and just keep perfecting my skill, because I've really fallen in love with using cans. I want to do some real big murals, and so I want to get good with that can, where I'm creating just like I do with my brush. Not there yet, so my murals with can are a lot flatter, but they still have my touch on it. But I like to be able to just have a few more techniques. So I definitely plan on getting out and practicing.
Okay, well, you know, I'm looking for a wall here in Atlanta. I haven't found a big enough wall yet. I'm looking for a big enough wall in the right area of Atlanta. I definitely want to do a fatherhood mural here in Atlanta somewhere. I've seen a lot of murals in Atlanta. Most of them paying homage to civil rights leaders, entertainers, and sports people. But I really want to see something that highlights particularly Black men in Atlanta. But I haven't found a big enough wall yet. But I'm still looking. I think I have my eye on one, but I got to talk to somebody about it. And it's a huge wall.
Okay.
It's in a prominent place in Atlanta.
Nice.
So in June, Fathers Incorporated is celebrating a new campaign that we've launched called Fatherhood is Brotherhood. And the campaign itself was designed to really begin to bring fathers into a brotherhood and to help them understand that in order to be a great father, you need to be in a great accountability circle or a great brotherhood. That the better your accountability circle and the better your brotherhood is, the better your fatherhood will be. And the better your husbandry or your relationships, all of those things, when you got the right group of dudes around you, there's almost nothing, you can do. There's nothing you can't do. And so that campaign was really designed to inspire this whole notion that fatherhood is brotherhood. I think the other piece of it is that we want men to understand that no man is an island, right? That we don't live separate from others in this space. We don't live separate from the other men in our lives, and we most definitely don't live separate spaces from the women in our lives. And so so when it first came about, I was thinking we were going to get a graphic designer and we were going to put some things together and put some images together. And when we began to put those things together, it just really wasn't hitting for me. I was like, it's not new. It's not different. It's not appealing, to my eye. And it's something that I want to see on billboards up high. And I want them to be in communities so that when people see them, they're inspired by that art. And I was sitting here doing something one night and I saw a piece of art, and it wasn't even you, but I saw the art and I thought about you. And I was like, you know what? I need to call Cbabi and see if he's got time to help and work on a couple of pieces for us. And so I'm so thankful for the pieces that you've done. We're going to show those throughout this conversation now, on overlay so people could actually see them. But tell me a little bit about, because I wasn't there, one of the things I did want to do in this COVID season is I actually wanted to get a camera crew up there with you to get you creating some of those pieces. But talk to me a little bit about what you thought of the project as you were working with it.
We talked about the audience that you were trying to have connect with the project, and so I was, thinking about likeness, and I'm thankful that you brought up certain scenarios. The fist bump came. That was one image that came just from thinking about, two cats, two different walks of life, just connecting. They have a common connection. With this, one just being Black men, and two possibly being fathers. Could even be brothers, but I like the anonymity that you can't say who it is. So that one really connects with me. But also, I really like the whole barbershop piece.
Yeah.
And again, just because I was thinking about my son, taking him to a barbershop, and him just sitting there taking it all in and listening, and all this, and just let that alone be the Like, I don't need to do any commentary. Like, the experience is just you coming in and, you know, if he wants to ask me something that he heard, hearing the banter. Yeah, so I'm really pleased with how all those pieces, they all feel different. And I like how they all turned out. And hopefully they're all, you know, somebody will connect with something in one of them, you know.
Very few people have seen them other than my staff. I haven't shared them with anybody yet. I just want it to just blow people away. But for the few people that I have shown them, the one that blows most people away is the one that you like, and the one that I like the best too, the barbershop scene. It's just so, it's so diverse in style. I think that's the best way I could describe it. It's kind of like it almost just covers everybody. It's like no matter who you are, when you look at that, you can identify with one of the individuals like in that barbershop scene. And so that for me was the best. You know, I loved all of them, but sometimes I have it up on my computer screen and I just kind of stare and look at it sometimes. And to your point, I go back to the barbershop when I'm looking at that particular piece. And now I have all these other concepts in my head, you know, that I want to see, you know, on art now. And so, you know, we got 5 years to go in this project. And so I'm not sure how often we want to flip out and flip in, and then what ultimately we want to do with them. But I have so many other images. To your point, like when I'm in the car riding somewhere, driving somewhere, I'll see an image and I'll jot it down on a piece of paper, and I'm like, I got to talk to Cbabi. I got to make sure that I put that image. Like the other day, I was going somewhere, and there was a young man with his child at the bus stop, and the baby was sitting on the bench, and he was trying to fold the cart up because the bus was coming. And when I saw that, I was just like, man, that's an image right there that is priceless. Like I could not get my phone out fast enough. I couldn't do anything fast enough to get it. But I said, you know what? I know how to get that image. The next time we get ready to do some more of these, I got to remember that I want that scene on art. I want the picture of a young man having his baby, trying to get his act together to get on a bus, because to me, that was and that is the essence of fatherhood. When you did those pieces, did any of those kinds of things or other images come up for you that you thought would be great, you know, to really highlight this whole notion of fatherhood as brotherhood?
I didn't think of that one. I think I had a few others, but I mean, images are always coming in my mind. I got some real long landscape ideas that I want to do for the show, some mural type pieces. But they would, yeah. I also, you know, having to think about the text that we needed.
Mm-hmm.
The campaign that definitely influences how things will line up, you know, in the composition. But yeah, I definitely had some different images that I have in my mind that I wanted to do with men together with their kids.
Mm-hmm. Have you begun to think about animation?
No. I think no. That's a whole nother thing. Like, and you know, that's funny you mentioned that, because what's the piece that came out when my man won the award?
Hair something.
They're here in the area. They're from this area.
Really?
Yeah. So I would definitely character design, you know, but I have no interest in doing animation, but I could see myself being animated.
Okay.
But I would draw people in my style and let somebody else take it and do their thing with it.
Pull it together. How about books?
Well, I'm working on a children's book. I got a few biggies coming up. Again, I got a couple children's books because they saw the 365 Days Dad series and loved my style, and that got me 2 big books.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything in your career that you want to do that you haven't done yet? Or anything that you wanted to draw that you have not drawn yet?
I definitely want to get 3D. I want to have some sculpture. I think Black Fatherhood definitely is my lane to continue to evolve in art wise, and I'd love to do something real dope with some clay and some metal. So I definitely like to do something 3D. And I got all those pieces I did in my series and some other and stuff, sketches that I'm doing, and I got plenty of subject matter to work with.
Nice. What your children think of your art?
I think they dig it, but I mean they've seen it since birth, man. So I don't think they really trip off of it.
None of them aspire to be artists themselves.
Well, my oldest son is going to Kansas City Art Institute in the fall. He's graduating this weekend from there. And my daughter is in graphic design, Columbia and Chicago, but she's ending it this year. She's not feeling the school. And she may go back to college, or she may just break out and start her product line, but she's dope with her hands and with lettering. I don't know what my youngest wants to do, but yeah, they got an artistic touch to them.
Oh, okay. If you had some advice for young people who wanted to get into artistry, particularly through drawing, what kind of advice would you give them?
Oh man, I would say that it definitely takes a lot of practice, and it's one of those things that you just have to do it. There's no sale guaranteed, but you just have to be committed. And it's almost like you just got to be committed to being prepared. Because like I had a woman come to my studio today, had no idea she was going to buy anything, and she said, "I'm leaving with something," and I gave her a price, and she was just like, "That's mine." But I already had to work in the studio, so I go over to my studio and I just work. I work all the time. I work. Even when I had a mural all day today, but today I went and messed around until she got there. You just have to always work, and don't be so quick about. Don't worry so much about the dollar. Worry about getting good. Worry about your voice.
Mm-hmm.
Money will follow, but because eventually people are going to connect with you. They're not going to connect with, this is some art I want to buy. It's dope. You want people to connect with you and your story, because that has longer legs than a lot of people got skills and they got technique, but you want to be a unicorn. You want to stand out.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be authentic.
Wow. Well, listen, sir, thank you so much for spending this time with us. I wanted to just kind of get you on to talk a little bit about this campaign and your work and continue to move people your way. I'm always thinking about new ways, and you and I have been talking about collaborating for a long, long time, and this thing came about, and some other things are coming about as well. And so I'm really kind of looking at some other pieces and some other projects that really elevate the imagery, particularly of Black fatherhood. There's not enough of it out there, and I'm seeing a few others, and I'm seeing some more out there where brothers and sisters are doing some art, particularly on social media. And really worried. How much do you worry? This is an aside question, but it's an important question for folks who, particularly for artists out there. How much does it bother you with respect to your art being on social media and folks using the images and not connecting it to you?
It doesn't bother me that much. It happens though. And sometimes I don't even know it's happening until somebody will tag my name. So luckily I got enough of a footprint that when people post my art on pages, that people will say, they'll say the art is by me,
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's just the nature of the post.
Yeah.
They want to post something, they want an image to go with the post, and they put it up. So I think also that's just also on my end, getting better at watermarking and stuff, and just having Cbabi just on the art. Like, it's not the original, so don't even be so worried about it being this clean image of it. More importantly, like you're saying, the credit, and that's where I can take control. Like, I just need to write it right on in and right across where they can't block it out.
Right. All right, sir. Well, thank you so much for hanging with me for these few minutes. More to come. Let's just leave it there. More to come.
Dope stuff, man. Appreciate you.
All right, man. Take care.
You too, man.
Pittsburgh Yards is an impressive new addition in southwest Atlanta. It houses the offices of Fathers Incorporated. Inside, a group of dads are enjoying a special fellowship.
We're trying to create a space where brothers can do that, where we can build, we can have these conversations, we can laugh, we can cry, we can celebrate children's birthdays together. But more than anything, to your point, is to build on our common ground and commonalities.
Talk to a young brother that got kids.
The program's theme is Fatherhood is Brotherhood.
For 2 hours every week or 4 hours every week.
Kenneth Braswell is the city. He developed a curriculum filled with resources and support.
We need to have somebody else to lean on, whether it's somebody younger, somebody our same age, a peer, or most definitely wisdom from someone older. And so the concept of fatherhood is brotherhood is to convey that message.
The goal for 2021 is to serve 100 fathers ages 18 to 40, packing their toolboxes with job skills, networking, and assistance with navigating legal matters.
They don't understand the system. And so because they don't understand the system, we do what men do, which is flee. And our message is don't flee, because that's just going to get you in more trouble.
COVID-19 has had an impact here too. Michael Paul had to close his business. That put a strain on his relationship with his family.
Myself, I started late, and my oldest child's only 17. I have a 5 and a 2-year-old, but I'm 54. I'm more in a grandfather's age range, but I'm learning how to be a father at this age.
Jarrell Bike's Royal Roots Barbershop is in South Metro Atlanta. It was Fathers Incorporated's Real Dads Read program that brought him on board. He hopes that having children's books in the barbershop will encourage reading, bolstering community literacy.
Every city in this country needs a group of men that are coming together in the name of fatherhood, in the name of empowering ourselves, our children, our families, so that we can build better communities. You know, the family is the backbone of the community, and if we don't have our families in good health, then our communities can't be in good health.
On this Friday, a handful of participants were honored for reaching a program milestone. They're already looking ahead to the next stage.
We're proud of these 5 guys who have gone through. We have not had one absence. They've been at every one, both virtual and in-house. They're enthusiastic. They've already asked me, how do we keep this thing going?
Is fatherhood truly a brotherhood?
Absolutely. It certainly is a brotherhood. I think that it's the best job that I've ever had, and I think that most men would agree.
Definitely, for sure. Fatherhood is definitely a brotherhood. Yeah. One of the many brotherhoods I am a part of, and one of the most important brotherhoods that I'm a part of.
And that's keeping ATL strong.